I'm Ray Rickman, I'm Executive Director of Stages of Freedom, and trying to be a civic leader sometimes. Once a week I take an hour, 2 hours, if I'm not lucky, 5 or 6 hours, and try to help move the society forward. I was asked last week to get some signatures from Elizabeth Warren, and I'm very excited about doing so. So I said, fabulous, I'll do it. Yesterday, a woman comes in, she has tears in her eyes, and she tells me that she was out Cranston and with her 5.5-year-old grandson, and she's getting signatures for Bernie. Bernie only needs Senator. He only needs one name, but anyway, she's getting signatures from Bernie, and a woman walks up to her and says, "You can't get signatures for him here." This is in Western Cranston. She says, "We don't do that," and she said, "You can get signatures any place." Now the grandson's watching this whole thing, and the woman's just raising her voice and yelling at her. He's a communist. And she says, "Well, I think he's a democratic socialist." He's not a communist. "What's the difference?" She says, "There's a great deal of difference between communism. In fact, there are almost no communists left because the Chinese communists are capitalists and the Russians aren't communists. So I don't know who you're talking about. Castro's communism. Anyway, she doesn't say all this to the woman, but she's thinking, what are you talking about? And the woman just keeps raising her voice and screaming, and finally putting her finger in the woman within 2 inches of the woman's eyes, saying, "Get lost. We don't do Bernie Sanders in Western Mass." And she walks away from the woman 5 feet and turns her back and asks someone else to sign. And 3 minutes later, the manager's out, and he asked her to leave because she has upset this woman who went in and told him that she's for Trump and he's for Trump and throw this woman off the property. So she goes and stands on the sidewalk. And I'm telling you all of this because of all this yelling, because people are so uncivil so often now. And this grandmother, she's not a very old grandmother, but this 62-year-old is out doing civic work to help someone get on the ballot so that Rhode Islanders can decide whether they want him to win. And this Trumpite is making a miserable situation in front of the grandson. So the grandson says to her, "Grammy, why would you bother to be doing this and be insulted like this?" And that's why I'm sharing it with you. No matter who you're for, you can be civil. You can sign one of these. I brought it. You can sign one of these for every single person who wants to get on the ballot. They need 1,000 signatures. It commits you to nothing. And it certainly shouldn't commit you to anger and to, I really wish we could have a year of civility. This year, believe it or not, 2020, as we get ready to vote. I tell people all the time, I hate Trump, but I do it with as much dignity as I can muster. Ugh.